Hi guys, welcome to another GCSE Maths video, and in this one we're going to go through week 2 indices. So if you're new to my channel, you can download these notes from the link in the description below, and if you're part of my class you can download these from Google Classroom. So hopefully today we're going to understand the 7 easy power rules and apply these to solve exam questions, and understand the 3 tricky power rules, apply these to harder exam questions. So I'd say that the easy ones, they're obviously foundation level, and the 3 tricky ones, obviously they're in the higher as well. So 7 easy power rules, and these are the ones we're going to go through today. So the first one, when multiplying the same number you add the powers. Second one, when you're dividing the same number you subtract the powers. Number 3, when raising one power to another you multiply the powers. I'll explain what this means when we do an example. Number 4, anything to the power 1 is just itself. Number 5, anything to the power 0 is just 1. Number 6, 1 to any power is still just 1. And fractional powers, if you apply the power to both top and bottom. Rule number 1, when multiplying the same number you add the powers. So for example, write as a power of 2, 2 to the power 4 times 2 to the power 3. Okay, so I'm going to show you the long way of doing these and the quick way, which hopefully you'll do all the time. You'll do the quick time obviously. So the long way, let me show you on here. 2 to the power 4, what does that actually mean? That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Yeah, and 2 to the power 3, that means 2 times 2 times 2. Yeah, so you got these and you've got these. Okay, and all together, how many 2's have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 2 to the power 7. Yeah, but obviously that's the long way of doing it. Quick way, which is this rule right here. When you multiply the same number you add the powers. Yep, so the quick way is you add the powers here, so you just write 4 plus 3. You don't have to show this step, but I think it's a good idea, just to show you guys as well where you get your answer from. And obviously 4 plus 3 gives you 7. Yeah, so hopefully you guys will do it the quick way. Just follow this rule and you just add the powers. Let's have a practice of a few of those then. Write as a power of 7. So again, add the powers and you get 7 to the power 6. Part B, simplify this. You're gonna again just add the powers. You'll get x to the power 4 plus 5, which is x to the power 9. Next one, simplify p squared times p to the power 7. So that is p to the power 2 plus 7, which is p to the power 9. And part D, just be careful with this one. Work out the value of 2 to the power 2 times 2 to the power 3. So when it says value, they're asking what is the actual answer. So you can't put it as 2 to the power something. What does it actually equal? So let's do it the quick way first. So 2 to the power 2 times 2 to the power 3, that means 2 to the power 2 plus 3, which is 2 to the power 5. And I can't leave my answer like this. The value of this means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So the 5 times, obviously. 5 lots of 2's, which is, in fact, I will write it out. Okay, and just do it in stages. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, times 2 again is 16, times 2 is 32. So you have to put 32 as your answer, not 2 to the power 5. Yeah, so just be careful. Sometimes they say write it as a power or leave it in index form, and it will be something like this. And sometimes they'll say work out the value of, and you'll have to write it as an integer. Let's move on to rule number 2. When dividing the same number, you subtract the powers. So right is a power of 3. Again, I'm going to show you the long way, where it actually comes from. 3 to the power 4 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Yeah. Divided by, so over 3 squared, which is 3 times 3. Yeah, this 3 can cancel with this 3. This 3 can cancel with this 3. You're left with 3 times 3, which is just 3 squared. Yeah. The quick way, which you guys will be doing though, is you subtract the powers. So obviously 3 to the power 4 take away 2. So showing the step in between. And obviously your answer is going to be 3 squared. So that's the quick way of doing it. Let's practice some of these. So right is a power of 8. That gives me 8 to the power 6 take away 3, which is 8 cubed. Next one. Again, you know, don't let this put you off. You know, that line just means divide, doesn't it? So again, it's the same rule. So you just take away the powers. So it's just x to the power 6 take away 2, which is x to the power 4. On the next page, simplify this again. P to the power 23 take away 7. What's that? P to the power 16. And again, you know, just be careful with this one. Work out the value of this. So let's do it as a power first. So I get 6 to the power 9 take away 7. 6 squared, which is the same as 6 times 6, which is 36. So 36 has to be your answer for that one. Rule number 3, when raising one power to another, you multiply the powers. So for example, right as a power of 3, 3 squared, and you got that in brackets, and on the outside you got power 4. So when you raise the power to another, this means you're multiplying the powers. Again, let me show you the long way and the reason why you multiply. So 3 squared means 3 times 3. Yeah, that's the same as in the brackets. And I got 4 lots of these because I've got power 4. So I've got another one of these, another one of these, and another one of these. How many is that? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I do have 3 to the power 8. Yeah. Obviously, you guys will be doing the quick way. So the quick way is you just multiply the powers together. So that's 2 times 4, which gives you 3 to the power 8. Okay. Again, let's just practice a few of these. So right is a power of 4. That's going to be 4 to the power 6 times 6, which is 4 to the power 36. Part B, simplify. That gives me y to the power 4 times 3, which is y to the power 12. Part C, simplify this. So I get 16 times by 4, what's that? 64. So it's p to the power 64. And again, work out the value of this. So let's do it as a power first. So obviously it's 10 to the power 2 times 2, which is 10 to the power 4, which means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. What does that give us? 10 times 10 is 100, 1,000, 10,000. Yeah, so you get 10,000 as your answer. Let's move on to rule number 4. Anything to the power 1 is just itself. So for example, right as a power of 2, just got 2 on its own times by 2 to the power 3. So if you have 2 on its own here, or any whole number, you know it's going to be to the power 1. So there's going to be a little 1 there. And now we can use rule number 1, where it states if you multiply, you're adding the powers. So this is a mixture of rule number 4 and rule number 1, technically. So I've got my step in between, add the powers, and you get 2 to the power 4 for your answer. Yeah, so just be careful. If you have any whole number, it's always to the power 1. So let's practice a few of these. Right is a power of 7. Again, there's going to be a little 1 there. And dividing, you're going to be taking away the powers. So that's 7 to the power 6, take away 1, which is 7 to the power 5 for that one. Part B, simplify this. This is rule number 3, which states that you multiply the powers, you still get y to the power 5. Part C, rule number 2, where you take away the powers. So that's going to be x to the power 6 take away 1, which is x to the power 5. And part D, work out the value of this. Well, that's multiplying the powers, which is 9 squared, and 9 squared just means 9 times 9, which is 81. Yeah. So let's move on to rule number 5. Anything to the power 0 is just 1. So for example, work out 5 to the power 0, and it's just 1 whole. Yeah, so it's always going to be 1 whole, even if you know you could have 999,000 to the power 0, makes no difference, it's still going to be 1. And the reason for that, let me show you a bit of reasoning behind that. Why? So for example, let me write here, obviously we know that 5 on its own divided by 5 is 1. Yeah. What do we get if we do 5 to the power 2 divided by 5 to the power 2? Again, you know, 5 to the power 2 divided by itself is going to give you 1 as well. But when you're dividing, remember rule number 2, we can take away the powers as well. So another way of saying this is 5 to the power 2 take away 2, because you're taking away the powers, and 2 take away 2 gives you 0. So this must mean this as well. So they both mean the same thing. So this is where it, you know, this is the logic behind it. So yeah, it's one of those questions they'd love to throw in the exam, you know, something to the power 0 is, and loads of people end up getting it wrong and they forget this rule. So you know, hopefully with a bit of practice and you know, just remembering this rule, you can get this every single time. So let's try some of these. Right as a power of 0, right as a power of 7. So that's going to be 7 to the power 6 take away 6, which is 7 to the power 0. Yeah, and I have to leave my answer like that because they need it in the power of 7. Part B, find the value of this. So find the value of this. Well, anything to the power 0 is just 1. So it doesn't matter what's in that brackets. Your answer is going to be 1. Part C. Oh, it's quite interesting. So let's do it bit by bit. So the bit in the top, the numerator here, that's 2 to the power 0. That's going to give me 1 over 2 to the power 6 divided by 2 to the power 2. So that's rule number 2. You're going to have to take away the powers. So that's 2 to the power 6 minus 2. So that's the same as 1 over 2 to the power 4. Yep, we can't simplify that anymore. That's your final answer. And then part D, work out the value of this. Wow. So, don't let this put you off again. Don't try and work this out and try and simplify this thing in the brackets first. You've got power 0 on the outside. Doesn't matter what's in the brackets, your answer is still going to be 1. Yeah, so don't waste your time trying to solve this or simplify inside the brackets. It's just a waste of time. If you've got power 0 on the outside, just write 1 for your answer. Let's move on to rule number 6. 1 to any power is still just 1. Work out 1 to the power 23. That just means 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, and it goes on forever, which is still going to be 1, isn't it? Yeah. So obviously you don't have to show this middle step. I'm just showing you guys what it actually means, and at the end of the day, it's just 1, isn't it? So write as a power of 1. Let's do the rule number 2, where you take away the powers, and that's going to be 1 squared. Yeah, and we have to leave it like this because the one is a power of 1. Part B, work out the value of this. Well, again, 1 to the power anything is just going to be 1, isn't it? Yep. Part C, simplify this. I'm going to get 1 at the top, and in the brackets, let's see, so that's still 1, and 2 squared is just 4, so my answer is going to be 1 over 4, or a quarter. And part D, work out the value of this. Well, that's going to be 1 times anything to the power 0 is 1, and I've got power 99 on the end. It's just 1 to the power 99, which is just 1. Yep, it's just this one, just do it step by step, and you should end up with 1 eventually. Let's move on to the last of the easy power rules. So rule number 7, this is to do with fractional powers. So let's move on to the last of the easy power rules. So rule number 7, fractions, you apply the power to both top and bottom. So for example, work out 2/5 to the power 3. So that power 3 is applied to both top and bottom, and you're going to have to work these out separately. So 2 to the power 3 means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, and 5 to the power 3, that's 5 times 5, which is 25, times 5 again, 125. Yeah, and that's your answer. Okay, let's practice a few of these. So it's a mixture of this rule and various other things. Let's just do them step by step. So work out 2/10 squared times 2 over 5 squared, right? So I'm going to apply the power to both top and bottom. So that's 4, 10 squared is 100, 2 squared is 4, 5 squared is 25. So multiplying fractions without your calculator, I'm going to simplify this first. So 4 goes into that once, 4 goes into that 25 times. Can I simplify anything else? That's it, isn't it? So it's going to be 4 over 25 times 25. What's that? And that's going to be 625. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it like that. Next one, work out 8/10 squared divided by 2/5 squared. So again, let's apply the power to both top and bottom. 8 squared is 8 times 8, 64. 10 squared is 100, and 2 squared is 4, 5 squared is 25. Ooh, dividing. So I'm going to do KFC, keep, flip, change. So I'm going to keep first one, flip the second one, change the divide to times. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like doing keep, flip, change, and you know, the reasons behind it. I just, to be honest, whatever works for you, just use it. You know, we've got other things to worry about. 4 goes into this once, 4 goes into this 16 times, and 25 goes into that once, 25 goes into that 4 times. Oh, I can simplify here as well. So 4 goes into that once, 4 goes into that 4 times. So 4 times 1 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1. My answer is 4. Yeah, that was a good one, that one. I like that one. Next one, work out all of this in the brackets, and you got a little squared. So that squared is being applied to everything in there. I'll tell you what, let me work out this bit here first. So I've got 4 squared, let's do that. In fact, 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, and now let's do 1 to the power 0, that's just 1, times 4 squared, well, that's 16. And I've got a squared on the outside for that, because I haven't squared that yet. So that is 16 times 16 squared, or 16 times 16. One of these can cancel with one of these. So I've got 1 over 16 as my answer. Yeah, that was a good one. And then part D, work out and simplify. Let's apply the power to both top and bottom. So that's 9. 10 squared is 100. 2 squared is 4. 5 squared is 25. Adding fractions, we need a common denominator. So I'll multiply the second fraction by 4. Yeah, keep the first one the same. So that's 9 over 100. And I'll have to multiply everything by 4, the second fraction. So that's 16 over 100. And my answer is going to be out of 100 as well. 9 plus 16 is 25. That does simplify, doesn't it? And that's going to be 1 over 4. Yep. Brilliant. That's a really good one. Yeah, and you do have to simplify because it says, obviously. Yeah, I like that question. So, those are the 7 easy-ish rules, you know, and you know they do like to mix these up as well, as you've just seen, you know, so you're not just going to get one rule in a question. You could get a mixture of a few of these together. So it's just about working them out, applying the rules, and trying to figure out what they're asking for. Let's move on to the next section, which is to do with the 3 tricky rules. But before we do that, you know, we're going to investigate with our calculator what actually happens when we type these fractional indices. What happens when we type in these indices in our calculators. So in your calculator, if you press 2, then your power button, and then put a little -1 in the box, press equals, comes up as a half. It looks like this on my calculator. Okay, let's do the same for the next one. 3 to the power -1. That's going to be a third. And 4 to the power -1. That's going to be a quarter. So you can probably see the pattern emerging here. So obviously the next one is going to be 1 over 5, and that's going to be 1 over 10. So what's actually happening is you're doing the reciprocal here. So if you remember from before, reciprocal means where you flip it upside down, and because your number is always over 1 originally. Yeah, so what's happening is it flips it upside down. The power then attaches itself to the denominator. So obviously 2 to the power 1 is just 2, so it's just going to be 1 over 2, isn't it? Yeah. So write a sentence about what you have found. So we can say negative power means the reciprocal. Okay, so you just flip it upside down. You can put that in brackets. Okay, so that's that rule for negative powers. Next one, use your calculator to work out the following. So 25 to the power, I'm going to use my fraction button now. So I've got 2 little boxes there, put a little 1 in there, go down, put a little 2 in there. Ooh, so it comes up as 5. Let's try the next one. 100 to the power, press my fraction button again, put a little 1 in there, put a little 2 in the bottom, I get 10. What do you notice about these numbers? Hopefully you've figured it out. I'll do one more and hopefully it'll show you the pattern here. So I get 6 for that. So now hopefully you should see that it's the square root of the number that you've originally got. So square root of 25 is 5, square root of 100 is 10, square root of 36 is 6, and so on. So this should be 8 for that. And this one, oh, how many zeros we've got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So that's going to be 3 zeros for my answer. 1,000 times 1,000 gives me 1,000,000. And again, you can try it in your calculator if you want to check. So write a sentence about what you found. Power half means square root. Yeah. So technically you could do these without your calculator. In fact, you most likely will get these on the non-calculator section. You just have to remember this rule. If you know your squares, you'll know your square roots as well. Yeah, so that's the only way of figuring out the square root of something. So if you go open your squares, like 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, and so on, working backwards, you'll get your square roots. So next one, now we've got power third. So again, I'm going to type that in my calculator, 1,000 to the power, press my fraction button, 1 and a little 3 in there. I get 10 for that one. Let's try the next one. 3, 4, 3 power fraction 1/3. I get 7 for that one. Okay, let's try the next one. 8 to the power fraction button 1/3. I get 2 for that one. I'll do a couple more and hopefully you should see what the pattern is. This gives me 4, and I'll do the last one, 7 to 9 to the power third. I get 9. So hopefully you've noticed, especially from the first one, third one, and the fourth one, you should recognize that these are the cube roots. So if you do the cube root of 1,000, you get 10. Cube root of 343 is 7. Cube root of 8 is 2. And the cube root of 64 is 4, and so on. So write a sentence about what you found. So we can say power third means cube root. Yeah. So if power half means square root, power third means cube root, power quarter, that's going to mean the fourth root, power 5, power fifth is going to mean the fifth root, and so on and so on and so on. So hopefully you can see a pattern emerging here. So fractional powers are quite interesting, and you know, you could technically do these without your calculator. So bearing that in mind, let's use your knowledge now to work out the following without a calculator. Your answers should be expressed as whole numbers or fractions. Okay, so I'm going to put my calculator away. So first one, 25 to the power half. Power half means square root, so it's the square root of 25. That's 5. B, that's going to be reciprocal, so that's going to be 1 over 7. C, again, reciprocal, 1 over 8. D, power third means cube root, so it's the cube root of 125. So something times something times something gives me that 125. That something must be 5. E, that's going to be reciprocal. F, that's going to be the cube root of 216. I think that is 6, isn't it? 6 times 6 times 6. And let me just double check. 36 times 6 should be, pretty sure. That's going to give me 18 plus 3 is, yeah, it is. So that's definitely 6 for that. Cube root of 216. You know, if you're not sure, just work out on the side, like I did. Square root of 144, that's 12. Ooh, square root of this. Well, it's definitely a 4 in there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to rewrite this. This is the same as 16 times 100, isn't it? And we got power half, so that's going to give me square root of 16, which is 4, square root of 100, which is 10. It's 4 times 10, which is 40. That's a really good way of doing it, isn't it? It's kind of like you know, like how you do surds. You split the number into what it's made up of. So that's really good. I'm going to do the same for the next one as well. That's 4 times 100 power half, which means power half means square root, so it's 2 times 10. 2 times 10, which is 20. J, that's going to be the reciprocal. K, that's going to be square root of 121, which is 11. Power half means square root, so again that's going to be 9 times 100 square root of that, so that's going to be 3 times 10. 3 times 10, which is 30. I'm going to have to split this, so that's 8 times 1000. And you know, when you split it, you know what I'm doing is I'm splitting it into cube numbers, because I know it's going to be cubed anyway eventually. Sorry, it's going to be cube rooted. So you're looking at cube numbers. So you know, when I split it here as well, I was looking at square numbers because I knew I was going to square everything. Same here as well, I was going to square these. So I'm splitting them into, in this case, I'm splitting them into cube numbers. So I know that 8 is a cube number, 1000 is a cube number, and then I can do this cube root of these. So cube root of that is 2, cube root of that is 10. 2 times 10 is 20. Next one, square root of 225, that should be 15. Yeah, if you're not sure, just again, just open your squares and eventually you'll get 15 as your answer. Same for this as well, square root of 169, you should know, hopefully. If you don't know, it's absolutely fine. Again, just go open your square numbers and it should be 13, I believe. Yeah, 13 times 13, it gives you 169. Now, if you're not sure, again, you know, just work out on the side. That's 9, that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 1, and yeah, you do get 169. Yep, just work out 13 times 13, and that's your answer. So yeah, that's good practice, you know, without your calculator. Hopefully that's helped you a little bit. Let's move on to a little bit of a recap. So the 3 more difficult power rules, these are grade 6 and above. So we looked at negative powers, which means the reciprocal, flip it upside down. Power half means square root, power third means cube root, etc. Fractional powers need to be split up first, then use the above rules. Oh, not seen this yet. So I'll show you that in a minute. So just to practice a few of these, and I'll show you the most difficult fractional powers that you're likely to get. So let's try these. Work out 4/5 to the power -1. Again, power negative power means it's the reciprocal. So reciprocal means you flip it upside down. So that's going to be 5/4. Yeah, and that's your answer for that one. And next one, fractional powers. Right, so 9a, power half means square root. So that's going to be 9. And work out, right, so this is a tricky one. This is where we've got one of those tricky fractions which I was just mentioning. So the way to do these is you split the fraction. So I'm going to say split the fraction. Okay, so this is the same as, let's put 64 in brackets. Power 2/3, well, 2/3 is the same as 1/3 times by 2. Okay, so now power third, we've seen that before. Yeah, power third means the cube root. Okay, so I could do the cube root of 64. I'll still have, so in fact, let me rewrite that just to show you guys what I'm talking about. 64 to the power third inside the brackets. Still got power 2 on the outside. Remember, this is using rule number 3, raising the power. So I'm kind of like working backwards. If you multiply these two together, I do get power 2/3 on the outside. So I'm working a bit backwards here. Let's do the bit in the brackets first. So cube root of 64 inside. Still got that on the outside. Cube root of 64 is 4. Yep, so now I've got 4 inside the brackets. Still got a power 2 on the outside. And I'm just left with 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. Yeah, it's just doing stages. And if you get weird fractions like these, then just split the fraction. Ideally into fractions that you're familiar with. You know, this means cube root. So it just makes your life a lot easier. Yeah, so you just split the fraction and do it step by step. So if you want to practice some of these, what I'd probably recommend is pause the video, have a go over the next ones yourself, and you know, when you're ready, unpause it, and then we'll go through the answers. Let's go through these then, guys. So work out 36 to the power -1/2. Right, so that means, well, negative power means it's going to be the reciprocal, so it's going to be 1/36. You still got power half attached to that. Okay, which is the same as 1/square root of 36. And that's going to be 1/6. Yep, so you should get a 1/6 as your answer. Part B, Let's do that. Similar sort of thing. I've got negative power and a fraction. Let's do the negative power first. That means reciprocal. Still got that. And now it's going to be the 1 over cube root of 64, which is 4. Yeah, so you get 1 over 4, or a quarter. That's your answer. Part C, again, similar sort of thing. I've got reciprocal, and we've still got power 2/3. I'm going to split the fraction, and let's put it in brackets. So I've got 64 power 3rd. On the outside I've got a little 2, and that's going to be the cube root of 64. Again, you don't have to show all these steps, I'm just showing you guys where my answer is coming from. Cube root of 64 is 4. Still got a square on the outside, so that's 1 over 16. Okay. Next one, 125 to the power 2/3. So that means, again, I'm going to split the fraction. Let's put the 3rd inside, power 2 on the outside. Power 3rd means cube root. So I need the cube root of 125. Still got square on the outside. Cube root of 125, that is 5. Still got that. 5 squared is 25. Practice question 8a, part A, find the value of 8x to the power 6. And you've got a little power 2/3 on the outside, so this is applying to everything in there. How should I do this? I tell you what, let's split the power first here. Split the fraction, sorry. So I've got, still got this, and I've got power 3rd and times by 2. Yeah. So now, let's apply. Let's apply the power 3rd to everything inside. So that means it's going to be 8 to the power 3rd, and also I've got x 6 times a 3rd here. Still got power 2 on the outside. Let's simplify this. I've got, I'll tell you what, I'm going to rewrite this. I'll do this in a minute. Okay, and this gives me 6 over 3, which will simplify in a minute. So I've got 8 to the power 3rd times 6 over 3 is 2, so that's going to be x squared. Still got a square on the outside. So let's do this bit by bit, and inside the brackets I'll get 8 cubed, which is 2, times x squared on its own. Okay, and I've still got this on the outside. Now I can apply the square on the outside to everything inside. So 2 squared is 4, and x 2 times 2, which is 4 here as well. Yeah, so your final answer should be 4x to the power 4. The power 4 is only on the x, by the way. Yeah, and that should be your final answer. So you can do it step by step, do it in stages. You don't have to show every single step here. You know, I've just done that just to show you guys what's going on. Let me just fix this. I don't like this. Just to show you guys what's actually going on. Yeah, that's better. Let's move on. Find the value of 8 over 27 to the power minus 2/3. Okay, let's deal with the negative first. That just means reciprocal, so that's flipping it upside down. Still got power 2/3. Let's split the fraction. So I've got 27 power third, 8 power third. Let's put this in brackets. I still got a little 2 on the outside. Okay, so it's the cube root of 27, which is 3. Cube root of 8, which is 2. Still got a square on the outside. So 3 squared is 9. 2 squared is 4. There you go. Yeah, you can leave your answer as a fraction. That's a good one. Part C, find the value of all of this. Oh, I've got a 4th root. So, don't usually see it like this, do we? We normally see them as a fractional power. So, in fact, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite this as, let's put it in brackets, all of that to the power quarter. Yeah, that's the same as that, isn't it? And now I can apply, in fact, before I do that, I can just do 2 times 8, which is 16. And still got this. That's a bit better, isn't it? Because now I can apply power quarter, which means the 4th root. 4th root of 16 is, in fact, let me rewrite it, yeah, just to show you guys what I'm actually doing. And also here, if you multiply 12 with a quarter, or another way of looking at it is, what's a quarter of 12? That's going to be 3, isn't it? So you're going to have power 3 there. Now we can do 4th root of 16, which is 2, times 10 to the power 3, which is 1,000. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. There's my answer. Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one. So yeah, just do it in stages, and you know, you will get your answer eventually. That's a really good one. I like that. Part D, given that 3 times root 3 equals 3 to the power n, find the value of n. Right, so we need these as powers, don't we? Yeah, so it should look something like this. So let's rewrite our original question in terms of powers. So 3 is the same as 3 to the power 1, and square root means power half. Yeah, so this is now equal to this. Okay, and now we can use our power rules. So if you're multiplying, you add the powers. So 1 plus a half gives me 1.5. Yeah, you can write it like that. So technically n is going to be 1.5. That's my answer. Brilliant. Yeah, that's a really good one. Part E, given that 4 to the power n equals 8, find the value of n. Right, so that means 4 to the power something. Well, even if I square it, you know, 4 squared, for example, it's not going to give me 8, is it? It's going to be 16. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is, let me change the 8 to power 2 first. Yeah, power of 2. So 8 is the same as 2 cubed, and 4 is the same as 2 squared. Okay, So we can rewrite this as, so 4n equals 8. So we can say that 4 is 2 squared. So that's replace the 4. Still got n on the outside. 8 is 2 cubed. Ah, right. So if this is the same as this, then this must be the same as this. Let me highlight it. So now this must be the same as this. So 2n must be equal to 3. So if 2n equals 3, 1n is 3 over 2. Wow. Interesting, isn't it? How cool is that? Yeah, okay. That's a good one. So, if you want to practice some more, just pause the video, have a go of the next ones yourself, and it does say, you know, these are all non-calculator, so definitely do these without your calculator. And it looks like these are all taken from AQA papers. So yeah, definitely pause the video please, have a go yourself, and when you're ready, just unpause it. Let's go through the answers then, guys. So practice question 1, work out square root 12¼ as an improper fraction. Right, so that means we're gonna have to change this to improper. So that's the same as, so you multiply these two together. 12 times 4 is 48, plus the 1 is 49. Oh, I see where this is going. Over 4. Yeah, square root means power half. So that's the same as that. Yeah, or I could have just, you know, square rooted it. In fact, so square root of 49, which is 7. Square root of 4 is 2, so I get 7 over 2 as my answer. Yep, that's that one. Part B, work out cube root of 16 as a power of 2. Okay, well, 16 is the same as 2 to the power 4, isn't it? Yep, and I have to do the cube root, which is power third. So that's the same as that. And now I can multiply these two together. So 4 times a third, which is 2 to the power 4 over 3. Yeah, there's my answer. So I've got 2 to the power 4 thirds. You know, I'm sure you guys might have done it slightly different to me. You might have written it differently, but you should end up with the same answer. It's absolutely fine. 2 marks for that. Practice question 2, work out the value of 1 2/3 to the power 2. Circle your answer. So, I'm going to change it to top heavy first. Let's see what we get. So I get 3 plus 2, which is 5 over 3, all squared. So that means 5 squared over 3 squared. It's 25 over 9. And yeah, we need to change it back to a mixed number. So how many 9s go into 25? That's twice. Remainder, that's going to be 2 plus 5, which is 7 over 9. Yeah, so it's going to be this one for your answer. Just do it bit by bit. Don't be tempted to do 1 squared and then 2 squared here and 3 squared here. It's not going to be the same. So yeah, definitely change it to improper first and then go from there. Practice question 3, work out square root of 2 to the power 6 plus 6 squared. Ooh, just be careful with this one. I'm gonna do, in fact, you know what, 2 to the power 6, that's not too bad to work out, neither is that. Let's work out 2 to the power 6, that means 2 times 2 times 2 times, in fact, let me just write it out so I'll show you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Okay. 6 squared is 36. So it's the square root of 64 plus 36, which is square root of 100, which is 10. Yep, so definitely 10 for your answer. Just do it bit by bit. Can't use any of the rules, I'm afraid. You know, you've got a plus in there, so you can't use any of those power rules, unfortunately, that we did before. So you're just gonna have to work these out manually. Practice question 4, c is equal to 2 to the power 10 times 3 times 5 to the power 6. Work out 18c. Give your answer, as a product of prime factors in index form. We've seen this before. This is to do with, do you remember when we used to do the factor tree and you put your answers as powers all multiplying each other? That's what it's asking for, product of prime factors in index form. So we want 18c, so we want 18 times this. Let me just write this down. So 2 to the power 10 times 3 times 5 to the power 6 times 18. Well, let's do the factor tree for 18. Break that down into the factors that it's made up of. So that's definitely 2 times 9, that's prime, and 9 is 3 times 3, that's prime, that's prime. So I've got another 2 in there, and I've got a couple of 3's in there as well, so I'm going to add them to these. So instead of 2 to the power 10, it's going to be 2 to the power 11, isn't it? So I'll have 2 to the power 11. How many 3's have I got now? I've got 1 here, 2 here, so I've got 3 to the power 3, and I've still got 5 to the power 6. Remember, they're all multiplying each other, yeah, so you're not doing it more than once. Hopefully that made sense. So yeah, you're just breaking this down into this, and just joining it with whatever you get here, you're just joining it with these other ones. So you get this as your answer. Oh, that was the last one. So hopefully you found that useful. You know, do practice these. These do come up to quite a lot, especially in things like standard form, fractions, as you've seen. You know, they love to throw these type of questions. If you guys are doing the AQA papers, AQA do really like to put indices in all of the papers, especially the non-calculator section. The non-calculator papers, definitely. So yeah, do practice these, and you know, you do need to know all these rules, because like I said, they do like to mix them up a bit. So yeah, hope you found that useful, and if you did, don't forget to press the like button, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon as well, and you know, send me a message, send me a comment, you know, and do let me know if there's any other videos that you want me to upload, to provide some suggestions. You know, I wouldn't be doing these videos without your support. So thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next one.